Welcome back to the Cash Kicks channel for expert sports analysis, the best team picks, total picks, and in-depth breakdowns based on previous performances. Stay ahead of the game with our winning insights. And for even more exclusive parlay picks, check out Channel in membership. New York Knicks versus Detroit Pistons. The spotlight swings to Little Caesars Arena as the 33-18 New York Knicks walk into Detroit to face the 37-12 Pistons in a game that carries real weight in the Eastern Conference picture. Detroit sits atop the Central Division at 37-12, while New York stands 33-18 in the Atlantic race. One team is defending home dominance at 20-5. The other arrives with a road-tested edge at 11-12 away from Madison Square Garden. The numbers frame it as tight, just a narrow edge in projected outcome. And that's exactly how this matchup feels. Detroit leads the season series 1-0 after a 121-90 statement win on January 1st. New York remembers that result. Detroit wants to prove it wasn't a one-night spike. This is positioning. This is pride. This is two playoff-caliber teams measuring themselves in February with May implications. New York brings a high-powered offense averaging 118.2 points per game, slightly ahead of Detroit's 117.5. The Knicks shoot 47% from the field, while the Pistons are marginally more efficient at 48%. From three, both teams are balanced and modern, New York spacing the floor behind Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby, Detroit countering with Cade Cunningham's control and timely perimeter shooting. At the free throw line, the Knicks convert at an elite team clip north of 80% from their primary scorers, with Brunson at 85.2% and Karl-Anthony Towns at 85.3%. Detroit's lead guard, Cade Cunningham, knocks down 80.9%, steady in late-game settings. Ball movement is nearly identical. New York averages 27.0 assists per game, Detroit 26.8. Rebounding is also close. Knicks at 46.5 boards, Pistons at 45.7. But the interior profiles differ. Towns pulls down 11.9 rebounds per night, anchoring New York's glasswork, while Jalen Duren counters with 10.7 and provides vertical rim pressure. Defensively, Detroit shows more activity at the point of attack. The Pistons average 10.6 steals and 6.3 blocks per game compared to New York's 8.0 steals and 4.1 blocks. Ausar Thompson, 1.8 steals, and Isaiah Stewart, 1.8 blocks, give Detroit disruption and edge. Mitchell Robinson supplies New York with 1.1 blocks, but Detroit's collective rim protection is more imposing. The offensive leaders tell the story. Brunson pours in 27.4 points and 6.1 assists per game on 47.3% shooting and 38.1% from three. Towns adds 19.9 points and 11.9 rebounds, stretching the defense with 36.5% three-point shooting. OG Anunoby chips in 16.6 points on 47.9% efficiency with 1.7 steals, a two-way stabilizer. Detroit counters with Cunningham at 25.3 points and 9.8 assists per night, orchestrating at 46% from the field. Duren supplies 18.0 points and 10.7 rebounds with elite interior finishing, and Tobias Harris adds 13.5 points with 45.9% shooting. This is balance versus force, spacing versus slashing. The defining theme: New York's offensive polish against Detroit's defensive disruption. The Knicks want rhythm and half-court execution. The Pistons want length, deflections, and pressure turning into transition. Form matters, and both teams are playing well. New York has won 5 straight, a 134-127 double overtime thriller over Denver, a 132-101 rout of Washington, a 112-100 win over the Lakers, a 127-97 dismantling of Portland, and a 119-92 statement against Toronto. The offense is humming. They've cleared 119 points in 4 of those 5 games. The shot profile is clean, the assist numbers steady, and the defense has held 3 of those opponents under 101. Detroit has won 4 of its last 5. They beat Denver 124-121, handled Brooklyn 130-77, overwhelmed Golden State 131-124, and edged Denver again 109-107. The lone blemish, a 114-96 loss to Phoenix. When the Pistons win, they score in bunches. They've cracked 124 points in 3 of their last 5 and shown late-game composure in tight finishes. Brunson's 27.4 points per game arrive with striking efficiency, 47.3% from the field, 38.1% from beyond the arc, and 85.2% at the free throw line, numbers that reflect polish rather than volume alone. He thrives on angles, tight footwork, and total command of pace, dictating possessions with patience and poise. In the mid-range, he dissects defenders with hesitation dribbles and pivots, punishing switches and forcing mismatches into uncomfortable isolation battles. Every movement feels calculated, every touch purposeful, as he methodically bends defenses to his rhythm. Cunningham answers with a different kind of control, one built on size, strength, and tempo manipulation. Averaging 25.3 points and 9.8 assists, he blends scoring and facilitation while applying constant downhill pressure. Though shooting 32.4% from 3, his ability to collapse the paint with vision and physicality creates open looks for teammates. He reads help defenders early, threads passes through tight windows, and turns broken plays into advantages, orchestrating the floor with composure that belies his age. The front court battle between Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Duren is equally pivotal. Towns stretches the floor at nearly 36.5% from deep, while pulling down 11.9 rebounds per game, blending perimeter gravity with interior presence. His ability to operate beyond the arc forces opposing centers into uncomfortable coverage decisions. Duren, by contrast, is a pure interior force, shooting 63.4% from the field, living above the rim, and finishing through contact with strength. If Towns draws Duren away from the basket, driving lanes widen and weak side cutters gain space. But if Duren anchors the paint, controls the glass, and imposes physicality, Detroit can dictate tone and tempo inside. Tactically, New York prefers structured half-court execution, spacing the floor with OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, while Jalen Brunson probes for mismatches and mid-range openings. Their patience often forces defenses into late clock rotations. Detroit's edge lies in activity, 10.6 steals per game, aggressive closeouts, and rangy defenders across multiple positions. If the Pistons transform that pressure into live ball turnovers and transition chances, they can flip the rhythm quickly and steer the game toward a faster, more chaotic pace that favors their athleticism. Rebounding may appear nearly even on paper, but the timing of second-chance plays could prove decisive. Securing a defensive board in traffic or converting an offensive tip-out into a 3 often carries more weight than the raw totals suggest. Detroit's shot-blocking presence and activity in passing lanes hint at a defense built on disruption, one that thrives on deflections and contested finishes. New York, meanwhile, compensates with superior free throw efficiency and poise in late-game scenarios, capitalizing on contact and converting high-pressure trips at the line. Bench production adds another strategic layer. Detroit draws defensive versatility and energy from Ausar Thompson and Isaiah Stewart, whose physicality and switchability can alter tempo in short bursts. New York's rotation leans more towards scoring balance and steady guard orchestration, prioritizing spacing and ball security over chaos. In crunch time, the contrast sharpens into execution versus disruption, structured half-court sets against opportunistic defense. The X factors ultimately revolve around three-point variance and turnover margin. If New York protects possessions and connects from the perimeter at its typical rate, Its offensive structure becomes difficult to contain for extended stretches. But if Detroit's length produces double-digit steals and ignites transition runs, momentum can swing rapidly, turning defensive pressure into quick scoring waves that reshape the final minutes. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Detroit Pistons winner. The Pistons' defensive activity and home court edge give them just enough separation in the fourth quarter. Cunningham's playmaking and Duran's interior presence will create extra possessions, and those extra possessions become the difference. In a game defined by balance, Detroit's defensive pressure tips the scale, and the Central leaders defend their floor once again. My second pick for this match is total over 222.5. New Orleans Pelicans versus Minnesota Timberwolves. The target center lights come up on a Western Conference clash that carries weight on both ends of the standings. The New Orleans Pelicans arrive at 1340, buried in the Southwest Division race and searching for traction. Across the floor, the Minnesota Timberwolves sit at 3220, holding firm in the Northwest Division picture and protecting home court with authority at 17-8. Minnesota has already taken the first two meetings of the season and enters this matchup with momentum and with a clear edge in expectation. The numbers lean heavily toward the Timberwolves, and the stakes are straightforward. Minnesota looks to strengthen its playoff positioning, while New Orleans fights to halt a slide that's threatening to define its season. Minnesota scores 119.6 points per game, one of the stronger offensive clips in the conference. New Orleans averages 114.5. The Timberwolves also defend with more consistency, allowing 114.8 per game compared to the Pelicans' 121.0. That defensive gap is real, and it shows up in shooting efficiency. Minnesota converts 48% from the field. New Orleans sits at 46%. From beyond the arc, the Wolves hold an edge at 37.7% as a team, while the Pelicans hover around 35%. At the line, Minnesota again has the advantage, hitting 74.6% to New Orleans' 70.4%. The rebounding battle tilts north as well. Minnesota pulls down 44.9 boards per game behind Rudy Gobert's 11.3 average, while New Orleans collects 43.7. Assists follow the same pattern, 26.6 per game for the Timberwolves compared to 24.8 for the Pelicans. Minnesota blocks more shots, 5.6 to 4.7, while New Orleans generates slightly more steals, 9.0 to 8.7. Turnovers are nearly even, but the Wolves' balance on both ends creates a cleaner statistical profile. Offensively, New Orleans leans on Trey Murphy III, who leads the team with 22.1 points per game while shooting 47.3% overall and 37.3% from three. He adds 5.8 rebounds and 3.7 assists, providing spacing and shot creation. Zion Williamson contributes 21.4 points on an efficient 57.4% from the field, attacking downhill and living in the paint. Derek Queen adds 12.2 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 4.3 assists, serving as a versatile interior presence. Minnesota counters with Anthony Edwards, producing 29.7 points per game on 49.4% shooting and 40.1% from three. He pairs that scoring with 5.3 rebounds and 3.7 assists, stretching defenses with confidence and range. Julius Randle supplies 22.1 points and 5.4 assists, while Gobert anchors the interior with 11.3 rebounds and 1.7 blocks per night, converting over 70% of his attempts inside. The defining theme is clear: Minnesota's balanced efficiency versus New Orleans' defensive vulnerability. If the Pelicans cannot slow Minnesota's perimeter accuracy and interior finishing, the game tilts quickly. Recent form sharpens the contrast. The Pelicans have dropped 3 of their last 5, including a 141-137 overtime loss at Milwaukee and a 124-114 defeat in Philadelphia. They've shown flashes, a 114-106 win over Memphis and a 102-95 victory against Charlotte. But consistency remains elusive. Defensive lapses and high opponent totals continue to surface. Minnesota, meanwhile, has won 4 of its last 5. A 128-126 road win over Toronto showcased late-game composure. They followed with a 137-128 victory in Memphis and a 123-111 win over Oklahoma City. Even in tighter contests, the Timberwolves' offensive rhythm has held steady. They're scoring in bunches and defending just well enough to close. Edwards plays with unmistakable force and command, imposing his will on games from the opening tip. Averaging nearly 30 points per night while shooting around 40% from deep, he carries the confidence of a scorer who expects to take and make the final shot. His free throw accuracy, near 79%, punishes defenders who overplay him, and his ability to extend range well beyond the arc stretches coverage to uncomfortable distances. Every hard closeout becomes a driving lane. Every switch, a potential mismatch. He doesn't just score, he tilts defensive schemes and dictates matchups. Murphy offers a contrasting rhythm. More methodical and spatially aware, he thrives in clean offensive environments. 22.1 points per game, nearly 90% at the line, and steady perimeter efficiency that keeps the floor balanced. He rarely forces action, instead probing patiently and hunting high-value attempts within the flow. He maximizes possessions, cutting decisively, relocating along the arc, and capitalizing on defensive lapses with quiet precision. Edwards supplies momentum and the surge of home court energy, capable of igniting runs in a matter of minutes. Murphy counters with composure and shot discipline, steadying pace when games threaten to spiral. The tension centers on sustainability. Can Murphy maintain efficiency against Minnesota's length and switching pressure, or does Edwards' dynamic shot-making ultimately warp the contest beyond recovery? Tactically, Minnesota's offensive efficiency collides with a Pelicans defense, surrendering 121 points per game, a margin that leaves little room for error. The Timberwolves generate 26.6 assists per night, a reflection of deliberate ball movement and spacing that stretches coverage to its limits. With shooters positioned around Rudy Gobert's interior gravity, the floor feels wide and unforgiving. If New Orleans overcommits and collapses too aggressively, Minnesota's 37.7% three-point shooting becomes a mathematical punishment from the perimeter. Stay attached to shooters, however, and Gobert capitalizes inside, converting at better than 70% as a lob threat and finisher in tight space. Rebounding could quietly dictate the tone. Gobert and Julius Randle crashing the glass against a Pelicans squad that has struggled to close defensive possessions may ignite second-chance points and early transition opportunities. Extra rebounds fuel confidence and tempo. For New Orleans, the counter lies in disruption. Their 9.0 steals per game signal a capacity to apply pressure, jump passing lanes, and manufacture live ball turnovers. Those chaotic moments are their clearest runway to easy offense before Minnesota's half-court defense can get organized and set its structure. Bench depth and late-game stability tilt toward Minnesota at the moment. The Timberwolves have executed in closing minutes with structure and poise, valuing possessions and getting quality looks when defenses tighten. In contrast, the Pelicans have struggled to protect advantages, watching double-digit leads shrink amid rushed shots and defensive breakdowns in high-scoring finishes. In tight fourth quarters, discipline in rotations, communication on switches, and smart shot selection will ultimately separate control from chaos. The true X factor lies in perimeter containment. If New Orleans can disrupt Anthony Edwards' catch-and-shoot rhythm, shade help defenders early, and force him into contested mid-range attempts over length, they can grind the pace down and keep the game within reach. But if Edwards finds space in early offense or off kickouts, Minnesota's balanced attack, with multiple secondary creators and floor spacers, can quickly snowball. overwhelming defensive coverages before they're fully set. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Minnesota Timberwolves winner. Minnesota's efficiency, rebounding control, and defensive structure create separation over 48 minutes. The Pelicans will score, they always do. But the Wolves' balance and shot-making at home prove decisive. In a game defined by rhythm and execution, Minnesota holds both. My second pick for this match is total over 233.5. LA Clippers versus Sacramento Kings. The LA Clippers arrive at 23-27, ninth in the West, hovering near the edge of the postseason bracket and trying to stabilize after uneven stretches. Sacramento stands at 12-40, 15th in the conference, fighting through a difficult season and trying to halt a slide at home. The numbers lean toward Los Angeles, a projected edge of roughly 65%. But the urgency belongs to both sides for very different reasons. For the Clippers, this is about positioning and consistency. For the Kings, it's about pride, development, and protecting their floor. One team wants traction in the standings, the other wants momentum in its building. Los Angeles brings a slight scoring edge at 112.3 points per game, just above Sacramento's 110.5. More telling is the defensive contrast. The Clippers allow 113.1 per game, while the Kings surrender 120.5, a gap that has defined Sacramento's season. Efficiency slightly favors LA as well, shooting 48% from the field compared to 47% for Sacramento. Ball movement and glasswork show stylistic differences. The Kings generate 25.0 assists per night to the Clippers' 23.6, pushing tempo and looking to create early offense. On the boards, Sacramento holds a narrow rebounding edge, 41.1 to 40.8. Turnovers are nearly even, 14.4 for LA, 13.9 for Sacramento, while the Clippers hold small advantages in steals, 8.5 to 8.2, and blocks, 4.6 to 4.5. At the center of the Clippers' attack is Kawhi Leonard. He's producing 27.6 points per game on 49.7% shooting, 39.1% from three, and over 91% at the line. He adds 6.1 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 2.1 steals per night, efficiency and control wrapped into one presence. James Harden complements him with 25.4 points and 8.1 assists, orchestrating tempo while shooting 41.9% from the field and 34.7% from deep. Ivica Zubac anchors inside with 11.0 rebounds per game, converting 61.3% of his attempts and protecting the paint with physicality. Sacramento counters with Zach LaVine at 19.5 points per game on 48.1% shooting and nearly 39% from beyond the arc. DeMar DeRozan adds 19.3 points with mid-range precision and over 50% shooting from the field. Domantas Sabonis remains the interior fulcrum, averaging 15.8 points and 11.4 rebounds while facilitating at 4.1 assists per game. Russell Westbrook contributes 15.3 points and 6.7 assists, pushing pace and injecting energy, though efficiency fluctuates at 43% from the field. Defensively, Leonard's 2.1 steals set the tone on the perimeter. Zubac and Brook Lopez, who contributes 1.0 block per game, provide rim deterrence. For Sacramento, Sabonis controls the defensive glass, and Westbrook's 1.4 steals spark transition, but the Kings' team defensive rating reflects their struggles containing penetration and closing possessions. The defining theme is clear: controlled efficiency versus open floor aggression. The Clippers operate deliberately, leaning on half-court execution and shooting efficiency. The Kings play faster, sharing the ball, trying to win with tempo and activity. Los Angeles is 3-2 in its last 5 with wins over Philadelphia, 128-113, Phoenix, 117-93, and Utah, 115-103. The offense has been crisp in victories, clearing 115 points in each win. Losses to Cleveland and Denver exposed defensive lapses, but the scoring ceiling remains evident. Sacramento has dropped 4 of its last 5, including losses to Memphis, 129 to 125, Washington, 116 to 112, Boston, 112 to 93, and Philadelphia, 113 to 111. Only one win in that stretch, a 103 to 87 result over New York, has broken the slide. The offense can spike, but defensive consistency has not followed. Leonard plays with surgical efficiency, 27.6 points on near 50% shooting, elite free throw accuracy, strong defensive metrics, and a steady mid-range presence. He doesn't rush, he dissects. Levine counters with rhythm and lift, 19.5 points, nearly 39% from 3, explosive scoring bursts that can swing quarters quickly. DeRozan's 50.7% shooting gives Sacramento a secondary scoring calm, but Leonard's two-way imprint is broader. He impacts possessions defensively while maintaining offensive balance. Harden versus Westbrook adds another layer of intrigue. 8.1 assists for Harden against 6.7 for Westbrook. One dictates with spacing and patience. The other accelerates, attacking seams and pushing tempo. Whichever guard better manages turnover risk and late clock decisions could tilt this matchup. Tactically, the Clippers will aim to dictate tempo by grinding the game down into deliberate half-court possessions, where execution and shot selection become paramount. By targeting Sacramento's defensive lapses, particularly in help rotations and perimeter containment, they can leverage their efficiency advantage. If Leonard and Harden successfully manage the rhythm, control spacing, and limit live ball turnovers, LA's 48% team shooting should consistently produce high-quality looks at the rim and from mid-range, rather than rushed or contested attempts late in the clock. For Sacramento, the formula is far more urgent. They must control the glass on both ends and convert defensive pressure into immediate transition opportunities before the Clippers' defense can get set. Winning the rebounding battle decisively would not only create second-chance points, but also disrupt LA's preferred pace. Their average of 25 assists per game highlights a commitment to ball movement and unselfish play. Sustaining that sharp passing and off-ball cutting will be critical to generating open threes, stretching the floor, and preventing the Clippers from collapsing into help-heavy coverage that neutralizes driving lanes. Bench depth and rim protection loom large in this matchup. For the Los Angeles Clippers, Ivica Zubac's interior finishing and Brook Lopez's shot-blocking presence provide structural stability on both ends. Zubac's efficiency around the rim forces weak-side defenders to collapse, while Lopez's length deters drives and alters attempts even when he doesn't record the block. That interior backbone allows Los Angeles to stay home on shooters and trust its coverage. For the Sacramento Kings, Domantas Sabonis must control the glass, dictate physicality, and avoid foul trouble. If Sacramento concedes second-chance points or fails to rotate cleanly to the three-point line, the scoring margin can expand in a matter of possessions. The X factors are layered. Kawhi Leonard's defensive activity, his ability to disrupt passing lanes and neutralize primary scorers, can swing momentum without requiring heavy offensive volume. James Harden's assist-to-turnover ratio will shape tempo. When he orchestrates efficiently, Los Angeles operates with composure, but careless live ball turnovers fuel Sacramento's transition attack. On the other side, the question is whether Sacramento's perimeter shooting can compensate for defensive lapses. If their spacing clicks, they can stretch the floor and create driving seams before the Clippers' half-court defense sets. Ultimately, Los Angeles holds the steadier half-court offense, anchored by a proven two-way star in Leonard and supported by Harden's playmaking control. Their defense has shown the capacity to tighten in decisive stretches, shrinking driving angles and forcing late clock attempts. Sacramento's pace guarantees scoring bursts, and Zach LaVine is capable of catching fire in rhythm situations, but sustained defensive stops have been difficult to string together. Over 4 quarters, consistency, not flashes, may determine which identity prevails. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Los Angeles Clippers winner. The edge belongs to discipline and balance. And tonight, that balance tilts toward Los Angeles. My second pick for this match is total over 218.5.